who would like to tell us what happened 2 weeks ago? It was a big one, right? Lots of information, right? So if people want to team up for this, just have at it. Let us know what happened 2 weeks ago for an extra penny.
We met with the vampire, right?
We did had dinner at Christoph Duvall's place.
Mr. Duvall's Manor.
Yes.
Yeah. He revealed that Avery Sutton was chasing the strings of Orpheus's lyre, and that Avery and him had found a string under the city,
Mhm.
but Avery is more interested in getting them quickly and has left to try to find
Mhm.
others elsewhere. Um, we also learned that Morris Emerson is, or at least we were told Morris
Mhm.
Emerson is is harrowed, and wants to use the string to thread himself and his passenger to this plane. Um, uh, we also have an idea that Joan wants to get the string as well to potentially save her son Donnie. Um, let's see. Duvall has asked us to find out how Emerson is controlling or attracting the undead. Um, and he gave us a little bit of a look at the dig site where there's a lot of vampires and zombies uh, sort of waiting for a. There's a creature that has the string already on its personage, and I think they're trying to figure out the best timing or appropriate way to try to get it without getting ripped apart.
That's excellent. Um, I will award you an extra penny. Does anybody have anything that they want to add?
I don't know. It feels like the long and short of it.
Yeah, that's basically.
I
I mean,
think
there were some
the
events at the beginning of last session before you went to dinner at the Duval Manor, namely Joan and Cornelius had a conversation with Emerson in his ranch house. They got a little peek around there, and um, Thomas and Franklin did a little scouting of the train station. But that about sums it up.
s-
So let
some
me. Mhm.
other lore stuff was that, as far as we are aware, all of the I don't know what to call them other than the little Harrods that are around, very probably, at least according to Duvall, are not
Mhm.
people anymore. They are Manitous riding a corpse around. Or at the very least, they're not who they were when they died. If Duvall is to be believed on that point. And the
That.
thing the string seems to be able
Oh
to do
shit.
is potentially help you control a possessing entity or something, because both of them want it for kind of the same reason, though we don't know
Whoa.
actually which party wants
What
it
the fuck?
from uh the drunk. Like, we don't know if we're talking to the Manitou or we're talking to him, and we don't know which of them wants it to get control over the body.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point and one worth repeating. That according to Mr. Duvall, um, his thrall, these guys whose drip you all appreciated quite a bit last session, um, as well as um, the Walking Dead that make up Emerson's gang. Um, According to Christophe Duval, they are possessed by lesser Manitous, and any trace of humanity is gone. Their bodies essentially just husks. for these lesser Manitous. And whereas Kristoff, Duvall, and Morris Emerson are overtaken by greater Manitous, and those Manitous continue to wrestle with whatever is left of their humanity. And it is this string which binds their humanity to this plane. How's everybody? 1, 2. That's way too many for me. Yeah, I think. No, Maggie. Gotta get you set. There we go. And where we find ourselves, just as a reminder, is you have been led through this sort of cavernous dig site and brought to this location where you can see there's sort of a standoff between the Walking Dead and the Nosferatu, and this sort of area between the red lines appears to be sort of the no-fly zone, so to speak. It is explained that this corridor here, right, leads to the location of the creature that has the string embedded, but anytime one side tries to push, at this point, anytime one side tries to push forward into that, the other side does the same, and it becomes a giant fucking mess.
One more thing I actually remembered, because it is
Mhm.
important. Although we're not going to go with Duvall's deal anyway, one of the big things that Duvall was offering in exchange for the string is help with Asher. Because Duvall rightly pointed out, like, yeah, no shit, the first thing she's going to do is come back and take it from me. Because somebody, it might have been Joan or Franklin, pointed that out to him. Like, yeah, so she's just going to come back, and then what are you going to do? So
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, no, we have a common enemy. Absolutely get it from me and I'll help.
right. And so, technically speaking, at least the evening of this dinner is still going on. You were brought down
Yep.
here afterwards. Does anyone have any questions they would like to pose while they're down here? While Kristoff isn't with you, he's assigned one of these attendants, we'll just say this guy right here, to look out for you and answer whatever questions you might have to the best of his ability.
I think my first question here is for Cornelius. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is all this? Oh my god, I fucking hate Magic.
Well, it would appear that spirits from the hunting grounds are using different kinds of bodies to get around here on this plane and in this town, and they've decided to feud, I think, more or less based on the types of vessels they're taking, or at least taking particular shine into folks who or particular folks in the area. But I mean, part of what we got to do is find out why at least so many of them appear to be appealing to Emerson. At least that is what Mr. Duvall wants us to do.
Oh god.
If you want a more theological explanation, I can try to make
Cornelius.
one up.
Cornelius. All right now. You know this so well. If I hear any more, I might just blow my own brains in.
If I might interject here, I think power draws in good and evil, and it's just that there's more evil, generally speaking.
That's interesting.
And then us showing up is the good getting drawn in.
That's very interesting. I sort of I mean, I don't necessarily think that it has to be precisely good or evil, but all these things are getting pulled in like water through a drain. It's all just going to be brought down. All of these Manitous and them are going to be taken in by anything that is bigger, which is almost one reason that I'm still I think trying to decide if I think the dealer likes this place because of the folks who are here, or if the dealer likes this place because it's a good place for folks like him.
Okay. Okay.
Or if this is one of those call it an investment.
Right, right.
Set up shop at a place you know, and then just provide enough resources to keep the fire burning.
Yeah, like a toll booth.
What the hell are y'all talking about? Are y'all talking about move? Okay.
Yeah, like creatures from another plane moving into this one using dead bodies.
Okay, exactly. Hey, Yuda,
Yes, sir.
fuck. Oh, okay. My bad. I forgot your name. Uh, hey, so you're like a vampire, right? You're like a vampire. Uh, were all of you guys like vampires before this, or were you guys like humans and like spread it, or like what happened?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, like any vampire, this body once belonged to a human.
Oh, okay.
But they were
Eh.
evicted, and now I am a thrall of Mr. DeVos.
Okay, okay. Um, willingly? I'm straining my neck hard. Willingly? Like,
I don't understand.
okay, so you guys took over these people's bodies. Did those people did those people like say that it was okay? Hey, no judgment if they did, right? Because I just literally dealt with people that was like offering up their skin.
Yeah, it's a flesh jacket thing.
So
Well, to be certain, I do not know. I don't have access to whatever human, but I don't have access to their memories or experiences.
okay.
But given what I know, I've got to assume that no, this was not done with their consent or permission. They died, likely in the process of being turned to a vampire, although not necessarily. And their
Ooh,
husk was claimed.
okay. Okay.
By
Uh,
a Manitou from the hunting grounds. Is that correct?
Which is
Correct.
you.
Correct.
You're a
Just
Manitou.
clarifying.
Correct.
Huh.
Mr. Duval calls and I answer his call. That is my job, my role in life.
And is that voluntary or
It is why I exist.
And do
I
you
don't-
answer?
That's a fair
to-
point. That's a fair point.
I don't. I don't mean to be short, but I quite literally do not understand in this context voluntary or involuntary. There is no choice.
Well, that's great.
Wi-
That's great.
Without his call, I would not be here.
You would
Oh,
still
okay.
stuck in the hunting grounds, you mean?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And when you say he, do you refer to the man or the Manitou?
No, I answer to no man.
Okay. Okay.
If given the choice, if it were offered to you, would you still have taken passage? Is there like a queue for corpses on that side?
I'm afraid I cannot answer that question. I do not have choice.
Okay.
It is not for me to say.
Fair enough. You just found yourself here one day.
Yes, and I do as master wishes, and am here for as long as he wishes, and will leave this husk when it no longer serves him.
Okay. Okay. I I don't want to cut. I don't want to cut this conversation. Just a little short. But does anybody else have any more questions? I don't want to seem like we picked a side by just talking to you guys for so long.
Are we allowed to see his string?
You can attempt to go in there, but I imagine the Walking Dead on the other side will take umbrage with it, and then we'll take umbrage with their umbrage, and then we'll be in the thick of it.
That's fair. That's fair.
If we'd like to speak to your master, how do we go about doing that?
Oh, well, unless you plan to dig a new way out, you will be speaking with him when we return to the manor.
Oh, right, okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, hell.
I think we may have enough information for at least all of us to discuss this as uh, an option. Maybe we get back to the inn and we can talk.
Oh, well, I believe my master wants to have a few words with you before you leave, but I'm sure he won't keep you long. Shall we?
That's
We
great.
shall.
Okay. I'll leave the option to you. Do you guys want to roam through the vampire half of this dugout underground, or do you just want to go back to the mansion? Where is it?
Yeah,
Or
I
you
have
just
no
want to
idea
head
what I'm
back to the
looking at.
manor?
Hey,
Yeah.
man, I'm freaked out already. So, this is- hey, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Okay.
Okay. So, do I understand correctly? We're heading back to the manor.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds like it.
I don't like it.
Okay. You are led back up through. You're led through the twisting, tight, narrow caverns of and passages of the underground, and led to the spiral staircase that leads up into the foyer of Duval's Manor, and led back into the dining room where Christophe Duval is waiting for you. And as you all come back in, he looks at all of you and says, "Well, are there any more questions, or might I make my final pitch?"
I'm curious. Folks down there were saying that they're finding themselves in these bodies. Per your summoning.
Mm.
Um, is there a selection process, or is it random? How is it that the Manitou who are brought through are chosen?
Well, I call for a thrall, and the mechanics of how a lesser Manitou chooses his body are beyond me, but one does and is dug up in a coffin and becomes my servant. There's, of course, ritual involved to choose the particular human body that the Manitou will select, but in terms of what Manitou it is, I have no way of knowing.
How do you select the body?
Not to be too morose about it, but there are plenty of graveyards around.
Okay.
In trying to grapple with the sides involved in this thing, I have a question which might be way too forward, and you can
Please.
shut it down. The you we're speaking to, are you a human or a Manitou or some combination of the two?
It's best to think of me as a combination of the two. As you can tell, the human certainly has significant control over what is going on, given the fact that he is insistent, we are insistent, I am insistent on getting this string from Orpheus's lyre so that I might bind myself to this plane and once again walk in the sun. If
Mm.
it were entirely Manitou, this limitation would just be part of the way I existed in the world, and I would be comfortable with it. If I were entirely human, I imagine I would be searching out some of the great priests and holy representatives on this plane, that this thing might be removed. But it is best to think of me as a sort of hybrid for the moment. I need this string, perhaps more, to bind these two parts together than simply to allow me to walk in the sun.
So you're basically a Harrow too, just with more cooperation.
He sort of winces a little bit at that and says, well, my relationship between the two parts of me is much more cooperative than is the Harrowed. Our friend Mr. Emerson is in constant battle. The rot that his body is fighting it is plainly evident. It's why he bathes himself in booze, to hide the stench of rotting flesh. That thing will take over, one way or another. It's only a matter of time. That is not the case with me. I am as I am. This string will provide me new opportunities, and perhaps a doorway to a more normal life. Both sides of me agree on that point. Whereas I would imagine the last thing the Manitou in Mr. Emerson wants is for him to get his hands on that string.
Forgive my curiosity. If you get the string, will you still be required to drink human blood? Is that a rude question? I hope it's not a rude question. It's a
Oh no,
scientific inquiry.
I do not believe it to be rude at all. It is fundamental to how I exist, and so yes, I will. I hope to continue an arrangement much like I have now, where I have human volunteers on whom I feed. I am careful not to drain any one of them too much, and they are rotated so that no serious harm comes to them. In exchange, they get to share in my home and my wealth. They are free to come and go, with one exception, and that is one must be here at all times, unless, of course, they wish to leave entirely and leave my employ, in which case they are free to do that, and I will simply attempt to acquire new volunteers. Now, I must admit that I am not exactly forthright when searching for new volunteers. I use the ruse that I have a rare medical condition and that I am quite anemic and that I need the blood replaced. And we initially start with a process of blood taking that you may see in a hospital. But it's not long. That ruse doesn't hold up for long. And I am happy to report that in most cases, the volunteers may not be happy, might be an exaggeration of their state, but are comfortable with the compromise. Living like this is not easy to come by in the West, and he gestures around to his home. Are there any more questions, or might I lay my full cards on the table?
Please do.
Very well.
Thank you.
As I have explained, for the past several years, Mr. Emerson and I have been in a standoff, neither side able to gain the upper hand. I believe that your arrival in town is fortuitous and that you can help me tip the scales so that I might get rid of him and claim the string and reclaim this town for the people who so richly deserve it. What I would like is the following. First and foremost, I would like your assistance in obtaining Orpheus's string so that I might bind my human soul to this plane and once again walk in the light. I would also like, if you can manage it, I would like to know how Mr. Emerson is attracting his horde of zombies. It seems to be an endless supply, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what it is. There must be something in his home that he is using to replenish his troops. If you will help me with these things, I promise you the following. First, upon receipt of the string and successfully using it to bind the two parts of me together so that I may walk in the light, I will dismiss my entire thrall so that, short of me and your friend Cornelius, this town will be free from all undead. Secondly, you will have my direct or indirect, however you choose, support in finding and killing Avery Sutton, as I believe that her demise is central in my ability to keep this string. Thirdly, even beyond the death of Avery Sutton, I will consider you all my allies and will look most favorably on any requests you have in the future for aid or assistance. I am a resourceful fellow, as you can see. So that is what I want, and that is what I offer. I have, I believe, given you all the information I have. I've answered all your questions truthfully, and I leave the choice up to you. Things that I am fairly certain cannot be said about one Mr. Morris Emerson. After all, it seems the news that he is a Harrowed was a surprise, at least to some of you. Ask yourselves, why was he hiding that from you if he wants your help? Which I assume he has come with a similar offer?
After fashion, yes.
If I may ask, did he tell you about the string?
No, not that I know of.
Well, then I will leave you all with a question. What does it say about a man that he wants your help but hides the true reason for wanting it? It was a pleasure. I am sorry about making the meal weird.
Before we take our leave, I'm beginning to think up something of a plan. Would we be able? What's the best way for us to get word to you surreptitiously?
Hey, we not making no plans just yet now.
No, I mean it, but you gotta like if we're gonna, then we gotta know how.
First, we got to come to a decision, friendly.
Okay, well, if we want to, is there like a drop?
This house?
Yeah, I would say have one of your cohort get in a dust up with some of my men. In the process of that dust up, pass them a note. I will inform those that frequent the saloon that such might be forthcoming while you all are in town. Does that work for you?
I think that works just fine for all of us, right?
That's
Certainly a strange method of passing a note, having to get into a brawl, but
Well, it is up to you how severe it is, but I don't think a full-on brawl is necessary. Perhaps a little pushing and shoving over a seat at the bar, more than sufficient.
All right.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're more than welcome to walk up to the front door and drop off a note.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't bother
Uh,
me. But if you want something surreptitious,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have one other question.
yes.
What is it that comes in on the trains at night?
Oh, the money I use to pay the humans in my employ.
Mm.
And just that? Just the funds?
Well, and it's considerable money, so the protection for the funds.
That makes sense.
Mhm. All right.
I presume by your question and your relative short time in town, Mr. Emerson has asked you to intervene in my ability to pay my humans. No worry. You don't have to answer. Have a lovely evening. And
I was like,
That's
"Oh,
pretty much exactly it,
he
yes.
heads out the back door.
all right. Let's out the front door. I don't want to be here anymore.
Are you guys going back to the inn?
Yeah.
All right, let me.
Same way.
I do not know why, but this game is working real slow for me this evening. Let me just move y'all back here. And you all can move yourselves into the inn and discuss as you would like. And just in terms of timing, let me call up the calendar again. It is Sunday the 3rd.
Okay.
The next train is supposed to come in the dark of night, Monday the 4th.
Hey.
Can everybody see where you are in town?
Yeah.
Standing outside the inn.
Great, fantastic. Yeah, you guys are free to move about and discuss as you would like.
I'm reloading the page. I do want to go inside. I don't want to have the conversation just out.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
Plenty of space in my room.
Of course there is. Uh, okay. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, I can't lie. I'm intrigued. I think the most by what we have to gain by helping Mr. Duval. But I think that we're out of our depth as far as these creatures may be, and I think that it would be most wise to do our best to help Miss Broussard first, which ultimately I think means not helping much of them at all.
I mean, if the double cross happens at the end, that's one thing. But deciding which side to throw in with at the beginning will help plan that double cross.
I think it's reasonable for us to work with Mr. Duval. Uh, this isn't the only string to the lyre, and uh, we'll see how things play out in the long run. But I think working with him in the short term is the way to go.
The
I guess at the very
vampire
least,
fella.
And if he, you know, if he were to become an ally of ours, that could help us locate another string, or potentially some such. I think there are options in that department at that time, but he seems a far stretch better ally than Emerson was.
I've got
Well,
a follow-up proposition that'll maybe get us to 2 bits of information. If we want to know more about the other side, the Emerson side, I should say, the only way to get that done is robbing the train. It might come and bring us into his confidence. At that point, we can actually have a conversation about what's going on with him. We can get the answer to that question that Duvall put to us, because it is probably worth knowing how he's doing that, or how his Manitou is doing that. So the crux of my plan is essentially to fake a robbery on that train, or at least make Duvall I guess in on the robbery.
I think that's a good plan.
We
Double agent a bit.
Well, it can
flip
turn
'em.
into a triple if we find out that we actually like what Emerson is spitting better.
Yeah. Just get deeper and deeper into it,
Well, yeah.
that's the problem. That's what I have with that. Um, okay, let's go off of the face value that he's telling the truth.
I'm sorry. I need you to clarify who you mean when you say he. Duval or Emerson? Vampire or
Duvall,
okay.
vampire, yeah. Vampire. First of all, we're assuming that he's telling the truth. That's
I assume he's
that's
probably
just
lying a little.
that's the problem. What part do you think he's lying about?
Well, that's also why I said if we want to hear the pitch that the other side has to give, the only way to get in their confidence is to do the thing they're asking us to do. To do that, you play ball with the side we do know. And
Well,
if he's smuggling other stuff on that train and he's lying to us, then if he puts up a fit about it, we'll know.
okay, all right.
It is interesting though. The both of them did just say the fact that both of them have said that the thing that is on the train is the pay
His
and
money,
how to protect it. That's sort of the thing that makes me. I understand the trepidation. I think that's the one thing that nobody's lying about, is that that's the train is, and that's all
Yeah.
the train is.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think Frendel's point is more if we want to rob the train, it is easier if we tell Duval, hey, we'd like to help you, and the easiest way to do that is to let us rob your train.
It's a
Sure.
mock-up.
No, it should be a real robbery just with his permission.
Well,
Because
I mean,
otherwise,
that's a
if it doesn't look real, then Emerson will only be more suspicious.
right. Fair.
Well, in
I
that
would hate
case,
to go through the trouble of robbing the train only for Emerson to double cross us.
I
it's
got
such
a
a far.
plan.
Go on.
You go here. You go here. You go
Oh,
here.
all right. The thing is, a train station is far enough away that if we wanted to produce the illusion of a train robbery, we don't need to hurt nobody who's coming off the train. We can talk to them, I think. We
But
could
we
maybe
don't
even
know
have
who's.
representation from Mr. Duval in some capacity to explain that this is a form of a ruse. And
We
it would
don't
have
know
to be
that we're
like,
not being watched by Emerson when we do this.
I mean, I don't. I think we might. I mean, the folks that could watch him would be folks who are undead and easy to spot.
To that
Whether
point, though, it'd be pretty hilarious if they were watching us and then we showed up with a bunch of money and said, "Okay, Emerson, here's half," and try to figure out what he's gonna do with that information. If he blows his lid and attacks us there, that's an answer.
Okay.
Right. We have a better chance of actually unveiling more hidden information if we make it a ruse instead of actually robbing anybody.
I
Oh,
mean, we're
I
robbing with permission. I don't think that
I
I'm not suggesting that we kill anyone on the train or anything like that, but I'm saying it should not be just be a business transaction where we show up and
Ah,
walk off. There should be some sort of mock battle for the contents of the train, lest if we are being watched, they know that everything we've taken has been done with permission and thus raising suspicion.
somebody's gonna need a
I
lamp.
I got an idea. Y'all let me know if this idea is too far fetched, right? We go with
Franklin,
okay.
we are discussing whether to side with vampires or zombies against the other for a string from Greek mythology. There is nothing that is too out there at this point.
Fucking
Hey,
amazing.
hey, my daddy told me to be a little bit to the light at least. But I like the idea, right, where we get Mr. Duvall on the train robbery. We take them. We take the. I'm assuming he go tell his people about the pay being missing for a couple days,
Yep.
and then we take this back to Emerson. He believes that he's like we're on his side when we do that.
Exactly, yeah.
And then how about this, right? We got horses. We took horses here, right?
Yes.
Right. How about we do this? We take the money, take it back to Emerson. First of all, pocket the money. I'm all for that. Don't know if y'all are, but also when we're like in the good graces with Mr. Emerson, we can travel down his side of the path with the undead, right? We go in the middle section, take the string, and that's going to cause a big fight between, like, at least try to get to the string, and that cause a big fight between everybody. In that wreckage, we take the string, get the hell out of here. I
So
mean, the
we
zombies
side
will let
with
us go.
but double cross everyone, ending up with money and string.
I-
I mean, it's
As-
devious.
What could go wrong?
Okay, I think the bones of your plan, if the goal is for us to get that string, bones of your plan solid. As somebody who has done some, let's call it confidence managing, the way to go about this generally, if you got two big dogs, is you pick one of the dogs and you help it kill the other, and then you double cross the one that's what's left standing. Because then you don't have two dogs trying to bite you at the same
Well,
time.
that's the thing. That's the part. The dogs are going to be fighting each other while we're in the middle of taking the string.
I mean, in theory, yeah, but each one of those dogs is.
We're literally doing theory right now. None of this is factual.
I know. I'm saying if they're like, oh, those ones are fucking us, unless we have
Mhm.
some kind of like, the only way that play is gonna work, which it could still
Mhm.
work, is if both sides think we are full on onto them, and that us escaping in the mayhem is just a ruse to circle back around when the coast is clear.
Lest we get caught between two dogs, I think is what you're
Right.
saying. Yes.
Meaning both sides leave us alone and fight each other because both
Well-
sides think that the other side is trying to get us.
Well, think about it. If we rob the train, we get the money. Mr. Emerson think we're on his side, but we told Mr. Duvall. So that why would they attack either one of us?
I see what you're saying. It could work.
Hey,
This
I do a
is-
lot of robberies. This is like my one thing.
It's pretty thrilling. It reminds me of a story in the Tadler about the Fish Pond 5. I think this could work.
And
Hey.
I mean, I guess this speaks to the
So
difference.
badly
in-
want to ask about that.
You
I-
do?
Sorry, I don't know why I use the voice. That is a Ted comment. I,
Okay.
Ted,
This-
very badly want to ask about that.
Franklin, it's occurring to me it's a real good thing that I decided not to use my previous knowledge and add it to your robbery knowledge, and we tried to not do that while it was just the two of us.
Oh yeah, yeah. Would have
Yeah.
created too much heat. Too much
Yeah, I
heat.
mean, that was the idea I was thinking, but also now I'm thinking about how much we could have got.
Oh, yeah.
We're both
No,
we're
we could.
both robbery guys. You're just more of the violence type. I'm more of the uh confidence sorting.
Hey, Franklin, I don't know what the fuck confident sword means.
Oh, I mean, I'm just trying to find ways to not call myself a con man. I'm a reformed con man. You could just call me a reformed confidence man.
and I'm a reformed robber, but here we are. Here we are again.
I'm gonna go on record though as saying like the only thing I'm not gonna do in this plan is use any part of my power to earnestly rob a train.
You
Well, I mean, it's still
don't
a fake
want.
robbery.
Yeah,
But
it's like
it's a
yeah.
real fake robbery.
Fake is fine. If earnest robbery for the purpose of getting money only, not doing it.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's fake. So
Right.
you're going to be good at the end of the day.
That's fine. I just am
Well,
making myself known.
I do just want to point out, like, even if you have his agreement, right? If you rob the train and then keep the money, it's not a fake train robbery.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not faking this shit. This is
I
just
think-
the easiest way to not get
I
shot.
think it's reasonable to get a cut of the money that he would have given to his work staff to us in exchange for the information about Emerson that we are going to be getting.
Or we take it all.
Okay, that I'm having problems with that part.
And
I agree with Frenel only because we are less likely to get the information we require if we end up keeping all the money that we told him
Right.
we were only going to pretend to steal. Because, as the disembodied voice we all heard said, if we do just run off with the money, regardless of everything, then that is in fact just robbing him. But I have no dog in this fight.
hey, that's fair. This is okay. If
No,
we
it
fake
is
a robbery,
robbing a vampire of the money he uses to pay people to let him feed on them.
like,
It's a lot of gray area.
hey, honestly, look at it from this perspective, because I know a lot of y'all want to be good people. We're doing a service. We're getting rid. First of all, if the guy Emerson rots away, all that's gonna be done, right? If the vampires come after us, how the hell they gonna find us?
Wait,
That's
hold
the
on.
real
That
question.
reminds me. Why did they give you your gun?
Oh, because they thought I was gonna help.
No, but no. Hold on. They gave you the gun that it was yours. It is
Yup.
yours.
Yep.
And why did they have it?
Because I lost it in the bed.
You
Then I got it
gambled your
back.
gun away,
Well, I didn't gamble my gun away. I gambled my money away.
and you didn't
I didn't do what?
you didn't ask anyone.
Couple things. Cornelius was there. He offered to pay for it.
Right?
I don't want him to do that. I didn't want them to give me my money, that gun back anyway,
You just
because
said
I
you don't
lost
want
it
the
fair
gun.
and square. Friendly. I lost it fair and square. I didn't want it back in the first place. But I'm not going to tell him to not give me my gun back if he has it in possession and is willing to just give it up in
Right.
exchange for our services.
Wait, so hold on. How in
Everyone's
the
confusing
red
here.
did you go to
How
lose
far
all
in the
your
red did I
money
go?
and then the gun?
Hey, are you planning on robbing me next? What's all these questions?
With what?
I don't know. You're the fucking magic guy.
I I mean, short of
Well, there's
convincing
like
you
two
to
other
give it
magic
to
people.
me.
My offense. My bad. My bad.
I don't got
John,
robbery magic.
Cornelius.
Are we so sure that the allies we need is a vampire.
By the way, a singular
Well-
vampire that is not going to be staying with us. So he's going to have to travel to wherever we're at.
By
And that's if he
night.
agrees to come.
I mean,
Right.
I don't mean to, Thomas. I think you make a really good point, but I will posit that we don't know that Mr. Nick isn't a vampire.
Oh shit!
I'm just
Maybe
if
he's
we're
a
gonna
vampire.
be if we're gonna be somewhat paranoid about the things we're interacting with and the allyships we're making, I mean, fact is we know more about Mr. Duval than we know about nigh on anybody. Period.
Yeah,
If what
Sister
he's saying is
Winter is a
true.
straight up criminal. Y'all are aware of that, right?
Nick may have his quirks about him, but he ain't a vampire.
Right.
I mean,
Well, I
you
don't
say
know.
he could
At
be a
the end of-
vampire. He could just as easily be an angel. He could be. Is
Oh,
not
could
really,
be an angel.
is not really helpful.
Right,
in terms
well,
of-
I
Oh,
but I
it'd be
agree.
like
We
a-
know very little about him.
Oh,
but
I
I'm
bet he's a
dealing with the
scientist of
information
some
we
kind.
do have.
So made the special boxes.
I've been really amused
Did he
by
make
thinking of
those,
him
or
as
did he?
He
Santa
s-
Claus,
he
but
said he did.
Oh, did he
Hey,
say
you
he made
guys-
them? I thought he just supplied us.
You think
to
he
know.
might be a werewolf? I seen it in the book Cornelius was reading.
Okay. Another thing is when I was
Could be.
praying
Yeah.
last night and I got a new
That's-
You remember?
thing I think
Real
I
thing.
can do. Then I learned some more about how Harrods work because I know that I can mess with them.
I mean, I think we can all mess with them.
No,
You'll
I
have to be
mean
a little
I can.
more specific.
All right, I can tell bad spirits and stuff go on get to go. But I can't. So if a spirit is holding on someone, I can maybe try to shoo it off.
you
Can't
can
do that.
Okay, but
What?
how does that work with them who their bodies are dead? Wouldn't that risk killing them?
Well, I reckon so. Yeah. If there's no, but if all I'm doing is removing an evil spirit from a body.
Okay.
Just,
Okay, but
I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying, be careful because
yeah, I wasn't really.
I don't
thinking
think
about
you
using
want
it
that on your conscience.
No, I wasn't thinking about using it on them
Well,
too much.
Well, what are we talking about here? Because it sounds like these people ain't really people; that they're just creatures from another world that now are in ours. There
It
ain't
might-
nothing there,
It might
right?
still be murder. I don't know.
I mean, Duval claims that there is a sort of peace between him and the human who used to live in that body, and that's why they want the string. It seems that is not necessarily the case for all of the zombie citizens of town, none of whom can remember any of their past once they've crawled out of the graves. And perhaps might or might not be the case for Mr. Emerson.
No, I think it was exactly they don't remember anything. I mean,
Another-
for
so-
Oh, no.
Duval.
Yes, for the zombies. I'm saying for Emerson.
I'm talking
he
about for the
seems to-
vampires.
What I was saying is that the real point I was getting to is that for things like Emerson, I can pit my grit against his, and I can turn it off. I can put it to sleep for an hour.
Okay.
You could put him to sleep for an hour, the vampire man.
Emerson, and I can put the Manitou asleep.
The zombie man.
The thing that's what's riding the Harrod.
Okay. So that sounds like a even bigger choice because if the zombies are not the bigger choice, if the zombies are, if let's just go with the. Oh my god, I fucking hate this. If we have all these dogs fight each other, and then Mr. Emerson tries to come talk to us, you could put him to sleep, and we get the fuck out of here.
Well, hold on. I can't put if the man is being controlled by the man, I can't put that out. But if all we're talking to is the Manitou, then yeah, I could potentially put that Manitou to sleep. If they're
It seems like-
working in concert, basically we'd be fighting a zombie that doesn't have all the other stuff.
Well, it seems like we are. Like these are just the Manitous. They're not the people anymore. And as you heard Mr. Duvall say, that he's riding away right now.
I mean, we don't. It's still possible that what's going on with Emerson is a different shade of something.
That's why we fucked them all over.
Well, yeah, look, that was me bringing up to tell you what something that I can do to Emerson specifically.
I felt a lot better about all this when it was people rising up, but now that there's creatures and not people, I mean, I'm not sure what exactly to do here. It sounds like everything we're deciding is bad,
There
and there
is
ain't no
no
good way.
good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no good way to go about this.
I mean, the good
Then
way to go about this is to simply leave and find Avery Sutton. But unfortunately,
That's the neutral way to go about it. The good way to go about it would be to get rid of all the undead influence and let this town's human folk live free from the rule of a vampire tyrant.
I mean, that starts to
I mean,
sound a lot better, but
I was going with save the world by finding Avery, but I see your point.
Yeah, find Avery.
so are these people or creatures?
They're,
Nobody.
well,
There
okay,
are
they
people
they
in this
are
town.
like the creatures that we are concerned with are human bodies with spirits from the hunting grounds piloting them. That
Well,
is all.
that ain't a person now, is it?
No,
No.
I don't think
No,
so.
not as
That is
we
either a
understand it.
zombie or a vampire in this town. The vampires are either a thrall or they're Mr. Duval. But there are, according to Mr. Duval, living, breathing humans, and he said himself, whenever he gets everything that he wants, he'll get rid of all of his other vampires, and he'll be the only undead remaining. And but he'll still be the undead vampire ruler of a town of humans that have to give him blood or else.
I mean, the or else I think is like loaded there on the sense that if enough people get angry at you, you might have really good powers and stuff. But
I mean, he said they was all on the up and up, that everyone was aware.
After they've
I don't-
already given some, after they've already been bought into the program, and
Right.
also we don't know what kind of influence he says that they agree to it, but not that he doesn't. We don't know he doesn't influence them in some way. I'm
like
just
Right.
magically, or
they-
If I
just
remember
they
he's a
say-
good guy.
I think you're right, but to be fair, I think the folks who are volunteers are really volunteers because the whole thing is if they don't get paid, they're not going to be there showing up anymore.
Yeah. But
But you have a point. You have a point.
they're volunteers. Just because they are volunteering doesn't mean that they're volunteering of their own free will. Doesn't
Hey,
mean
you
that
know
they're
what?
not being manipulated or coerced in some way into volunteering. He said
Hey,
himself he has to lie to them first.
he has to lie to him first. None of these thralls of his remember their past life. They must agree with him, if I remember correctly. That's what they
I
said.
mean that's Thrall is pretty definitive.
You know, I don't
we might
know,
be
guys.
mixing. Hold on, I feel like we're mixing two different people here, or two different
I'm
groups
talking about
here.
the Nosferatu song. The
Yes, but those
guy
aren't the
down
ones
there.
from whom he feeds.
Yeah,
No, the
I'm not
Thralls are
talking
not
about
the
this
same
guy.
as the people he feeds from.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
I'm not talking about them. I'm just bringing up the thralls here. The thralls here, the ones that's closer to the humans to not microwave, iron out some little details, right? I think I'm going to be so real. Maybe it's just because I'm the robbery guy and I like to shoot people. But I feel like this is the most non-conflict way to go about it. Is by fucking them both over. The zombies are going to rot away and die. This guy's going to be stuck to this place until he leaves in the middle of the night.
I guess ultimately the question is, what is it that we want to get out of any interaction with all of them? I think we can all agree, and she will look over at Joan, that the string is, for the people in this room, the most crucial aspect of either organization.
Agreed.
The second, and perhaps equally as important as the first thing, is any information on where to find Avery Sutton, who,
Right.
again, does intend to do something that will bring about death and destruction on a catastrophic scale on this world.
And only one party has offered anything on that.
Mhm.
I
So,
I
like I
think we
said,
just keep playing the game. Just keep playing both of them, and I think making the deal with Duval potentially to rob him with his knowledge to get in better with Emerson. That way we can learn more on that side. I think that's the way to get started.
And
Yeah.
if we rob him and he wants to take Duvall out before sharing all that,
great.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Great. We're on his side till the moment he throws his hand, and then we
Hmm.
shoot him in the back of the head. Well, you shoot him in the back of the head. I'll be nearby.
I'm more favorable to take them all out. Honestly, I like that idea, but there's just too many of them. So
I think taking them all out in the end, I mean, circling back to the back one dog until it kills the other, and then take that one out. Once Duval's the only threat, we stand a better chance. And
Yes.
like I said, I think what we could do to help this town the most is get rid of all of these undead motherfuckers that are trying to, gain power here.
In terms of
We're-
Duval, it seems like once Duval is dead, the others all are only here because of his call. If he is gone, it is possible the Manitous that inhabit the other creatures we saw down in the mine will have no
Could be,
direction
yeah.
if they maintain their connection here at all.
Yeah. Or they
we
are
don't know the same about Emerson
freed,
just yet.
you know.
Yeah, they could be freed. That is
right,
entirely
it could
possible,
be
which-
we kill him, and now we got 24 wild
Wild.
vampires, not under control anymore.
I-
It's a mess for sure.
I would
I think it
also-
sounds like though we're all in favor of a fake train robbery to potentially
one, yeah.
profit. I think that we're all agreeing with that
Joan-
idea.
Joan,
Well,
I
I
do
think-
have a question to put to you regarding the string. You want it for your boy, right?
Potentially.
Which is good enough reason as far as I'm concerned. But the thought I'm thinking is that we're hunting down somebody who's looking for strings.
You're
I
thinking
say that,
they got other strings.
well, I'm saying they might have other strings, right? But I'm also saying that bringing them a string adds a little bit more sauce to our failure if we do fail.
okay. Giving who a string?
If we
you
have
mean
a
to say that
string-
if we have a string when we face Avery Sutton and are then defeated, Avery Sutton then gets another string out of the process, well, then we just don't lose.
That's,
As
I
simple
mean,
as that.
that's fair. It's just we don't find your boy before we find her. We got a string on us.
Mm-hmm.
It could be good for bargaining. There's a couple ways to
Mhm.
use it, but it's still a part of the thinking part of the thing.
The other factor in that is that is a very future problem, as we have not even robbed a train yet, let alone stolen a string.
We'll fake rob a train. Look, I think that was a bang up plan by me. I don't like to take pride in it because I know from whence it came within my mind, but I feel an echo of a past me thinking that's a real good one.
Fake robbery is very clever. So we'd fake rob the train to get in with Emerson, try to learn what it is that he's doing, That way we can get in deeper with the vampire man to potentially then set them against each other in some fashion
Um,
to get
It's a rough
the
sketch.
to fight the beast and get the string, then kill Duval because we ain't giving it to him and he ain't gonna like it.
Right.
Also,
Right.
because he's a vampire.
Right.
Actually, that's a very good point. I hadn't thought about fighting the beast to get the string. That's a third dog that we're gonna go put our fingers in
that
its mouth, get the shit bit out of us, and then walk out of there and find the other dogs fighting.
I think
what?
we need to try to get help
Take one of the
on
two
that
dogs
front,
with
right?
us.
And then just
What?
maybe not help them during the process.
Okay,
Probably.
there's a third beast.
I mean, there's something holding that string in there.
Right. The
And
thing
when
that
we
they're
try
not going in to get.
yeah, I completely forgot about the fact that we're gonna have to fight that fucking thing, whatever it is.
Not like it's just sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
Sorry, it's catching back up with me how much I did not take that into consideration. It doesn't change anything we're doing right now, but it is a big problem on the whole double
Okay.
cross after the double cross after the double
Right.
cross maneuver.
Okay. So it's a third beast protecting the string exclusively.
Right. Right, which is gonna be the first beast we gotta handle regardless of what we do, unless we're gonna take one of the others off the board before we even start there.
Well, that's the thing, though. Do we? Do we really have to?
Have to what?
It's the beast is not what we came here to kill. It's just guarding the string, right?
It's get a
You
guard the
think
string.
get the string without fighting
And then-
us? Oh, you're talking a double heist.
I mean,
Okay.
if we take it, the beast comes out. The beast, unless it knows exactly who has the string, is going to freak the fuck out.
All right. I mean, I think that one is definitely a game time decision. If it turns out we can get the string from the beast and then run like hell, we'll lead it into whoever's left, and then we'll think about it later.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. If we do lead the beast, we should lead them to Mr. Duvall. That's the other
That's what I'm
part that we
saying. Whoever's left.
Right.
Okay, part one though is we need to talk to Duval and request a robbery.
That sounds like your department.
Fuck. I mean, I could just walk up there, I guess.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I'll come with you. We can chat with him about it.
Who?
This is
Okay,
still America, after all.
who's the least suspicious people to go walking in there?
You.
You, all of us. It don't. None of us. It don't matter. They're
Yeah, we're
They're
all the
watching
same.
us.
We're one group.
If they're watching
If they're
us,
watching
like,
us, they're watching us. If they're not, then they're not.
If they are watching us, it's best we're all together, and if they're not watching us, then we all know what's going on.
No, we don't need to all be together. They're watching us from across the goddamn town. We know this already from the first night we were here.
all right, I'm putting my hat on. Time
You're
to go
gonna
for a
go
walk.
now.
Why not?
Sounds like a good idea.
He's
Yeah,
probably got not in
I'm
his
with you.
90s yet.
He already suspects something. We might as well just go and chat with him.
I
Mm.
mean, it's occurring to me. I just said he's probably not in his 90s yet, but he won't be till sunrise.
Isn't he always in his 90s, I suppose?
Well, no, he's not. He's in his days. He's
Mm.
gonna get in
I
his
don't-
90s when it's daytime.
Hey, maybe you do a little snooping while you're in there and find out
Nope,
where
not doing that.
where his coffin is.
Nope, not doing that.
Hmm?
I'm not good at snooping.
Hey, maybe we
You
can
know,
get you
that's-
some garlic.
You know,
Yeah, I've been
that's
thinking about
super
that.
fair.
Like getting holy symbols you believe in, that should be good. I could probably also bless some water if you want to do that, but we'll revisit that when I get back.
Hmm. Well, I ain't really thirsty, so
Sure.
Is that
Okay.
is that how that works? Is that how that works? Like we can just throw holy water in?
Who all is going where?
I'm going to Duval's house. 20
Okay.
minutes
Going
after we
with
left.
him.
Okay. Is everybody else staying at the inn?
Oh hell yeah, I ain't going over there.
Okay. Is the intention to just go and talk to him? And the only reason I ask
Yep.
is because, like, if the intention is just to talk to him, no reason to drag you to a different map. We can just.
Yep. Intention's just to talk to him.
Okay.
I do not have the sauce to sleuth around his fucking compound.
Mhm.
Yeah. No
No,
worries.
friendly ain't built for that.
Right.
You know, that's just a fair decision due to the fact that it's only you two guys there, and Joan is
Yeah.
the only like active fighter between
Right.
y'all. So
I
like,
got a lot of "don't fight me" that is very applicable
also
to
only-
everything here.
One of the fighters because of luck. Like I'm built to
Well,
support.
right.
hey,
But yeah,
know.
we're just talking.
You're the
Okay. Yeah, you walk up. The crew out front just asks if they're a little confused. They ask if you forgot something. You make it clear. You want to have a conversation. They let you in, and you're back in the dining room with Christophe Duval. Oh, well, I didn't expect to see you again so soon. With what may I help you?
yeah, that plan I was talking about percolated a little bit. So, mind if I take a seat?
Please.
Me and my friend here. I'll pull out the chair for Joan.
Thank you kindly.
All right, Joan, you want me to take point? You just catch the things I'm missing?
Sure. Take it away.
All right. So, first things first, as you deduced, your counterpart over there, Emerson, he is asking us about the train. More specifically, he's wanting us to rob your train, starve your folks of money. Presumably to try to thin your herd. I guess in both ways. Didn't mean it quite so literally, but. So we're starting there.
Now, in
put-
order to try to gather the information that you are hoping for and to get more in on Emerson's good side, we were hoping to speak with you about going on through with that plan. I'll look back over to Friendly.
Yeah, I put both hands up on the desk, like in kind of the like supplication thing, or like hand cards on the table, then realize one of them is my glove and quickly put it back under the table.
Yeah. He winces at the side of your glove a little bit, then says, "So you've come here to tell me that you'd like to rob me?"
Well, technically, yes, but what we've come here is to say that you need information about Emerson. You want to know how he's doing it. Right? That was the second thing you tasked us with.
It is.
Right. Our only way he's going to tell us anything is if we do what he asked us to. So the robbery we're proposing here isn't a real robbery as such. It is a prop robbery or a con.
Wonderful. So you won't be taking the money, but you'll make it look like you're taking the money.
More I was thinking we take the money and because here's the thing.
And you'll get it back soon.
Emerson's gonna ask us to show. So unless you put money in our pocket now to show that we got money, then Emerson's not gonna believe. We just say, yeah, we stole it.
Especially if then all of your boys head on down to the bar the next day with their fresh fat paychecks.
Well, you put me in a difficult place. For you see, if I don't pay my human employees, then there won't be anyone to protect this place during the day. Which means during the day, Mr. Emerson's crew can just come run roughshod over the manor and have his way with the town.
You don't have any extra capital laying around? Man,
It's
you're
coming on the train.
well. That's so you've got extra capital coming on the train.
I have money coming on the train to pay my employees.
Right.
What if you got your employees in on it, and they just tell them checks are coming, they'll be a few days late.
Right. So very well. Right. Like I said, I understand the plan. I like the plan.
Okay, I've
Right.
got
But I can't give up the money. I'm more than happy to help you engineer this in such a way so it looks like you've stolen the money, so it looks like you've robbed the train. I can give you the train. It's a very special train.
okay. Here's
That's very
another
intriguing.
potential solution. Okay, you are a rich man, yes,
To say the least.
right? But what you don't got necessarily, I guess, is like you couldn't bankroll your boys for a week with just the money you got.
You've seen the bank in this town.
Right, but with just your money, the stuff you got squirreled away here in this house, if you open the coffers, how long
I-
could you make it for?
Make me a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Good lord.
Holy cow!
Oh my
Holy
god!
cow.
That's
Okay.
increíble.
So you
I
were a
know something.
con man, you say?
I want you guys to see. I saw a 1 right away. I was like, oh, well, that's fucked. I did
So
not see 2 12s and 6.
he's like, well, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't have any cash on hand. That's why the train is coming. But I do have items that I could use as collateral, and perhaps that would ensure some loyalty for a brief period of time. But you're going to be giving this money to Mr. Emerson?
I don't really plan, honestly, to give the money to Mr. Emerson, or if we do, I don't think he's going to hold it for very long. But we need to show it. We need to flash it, right? And probably what I'd be suggesting is we only flash half, because it's crazy to take the whole amount if we were doing this the way he's asking us to.
Friendly, remind me, did Mr. Emerson ask us to bring him the money, or just to
Nope.
deprive Mr. Duval of it?
Mostly it was the deprivation, as I understand it.
So, honestly, we could likely get away with taking, if you could give us a small sum of cash that we could use to, you know, make the appearance with Mr. Emerson. And then what we could do is, you would retain the funds to pay your protection, and but perhaps you could instruct them to hide, make it seem like they have left, make it seem like they did not get paid, and then whenever Emerson and his cronies storm the place, they're suddenly surrounded and outnumbered.
Fair enough, yeah. Put on an act of disgruntlement. I guess so. That Jones' proposal here would be that you keep the train money, but you give us enough of a sum from your own coffers to make it
For
seem
us to
like
be able to say
he's
we
good.
stole the money and show Mr. Emerson.
Very well. How about the following? The train will arrive at approximately half hour approximately 11:30. All but one car will then drive off. The car remaining will extend its additional wheels so that it might continue its journey here off of the railroad tracks. At an arranged location along the way, it will stop. My men will take all but 10% of the cash out of the train, leaving the remainder as well as the train car itself. You may then use that train car and the remaining cash and safe that it was in as evidence that you have robbed the train. Will that suffice?
I think that should work just fine.
And for the more selfishly inclined amongst our group, which to be clear, I like move again to like wiggle my finger underneath the table, but realize he can't see.
Mhm.
Not me personally, but that 10% we could perhaps call a payment for getting you that information you were looking at,
Oh,
which
not
is what the
just
point of this whole thing is.
not just the 10%, but I can give you the train car itself.
Oh,
Now, you had mentioned something about it creating its own tracks.
Oh, it
Something interesting about the car itself.
tracks? Where it goes, it doesn't need tracks.
God
All right,
damn.
I'm on
that
this
has
You
side.
a
walked into
mighty
it. I'm
fine
so
ring
fucking
to it.
sorry. You walked into it. I'm so
Don't you
sorry.
dare apologize.
I need to
I'm
write
gonna be
that
real.
down.
Dare.
That was something.
I'm on his side now. So if you guys want to do it, hey, fuck it.
Okay. I guess given that we were appointed to be the representatives of our group here, I look at Joan. I think we can maybe say we have a deal. What do you think, Joan?
I think this is the deal we came to make.
I reach out my ungloved hand to shake his.
He extends his hand to shake it, and says, "Well, then we have a deal. I do have another. Well, it's not a request, really. It's well, it's just an idea that has percolated. To be clear, we have a deal, and I am fully on board with this plan. There, you will head to the train station, wait for all but one car of the train to leave the station, then follow that remaining car as it drives off into the woods back towards Duval's Bluff. It will stop in a clearing, at which point my men will take the bulk of the cash and put it onto carriage and bring that here so that I might pay my staff. But the train car itself, as well as a safe that will be broken in such a way as to make it seem as if you had broken into it, along with $5,000 will be left. You can use that as proof however you wish. The idea that has come to mind is perhaps in an effort to get the information that I want, you might want to tell Mr. Emerson that you were able to disable the train but need his assistance in getting the money. That might remove him from the ranch Tuesday during the day as he goes to try and assist, which will leave his ranch less protected so that you might snoop around. I understand we don't have a lot of time to make these plans. If it's something you'd like to pursue, leave a lantern on in the window at the inn during the day tomorrow. My men will see it, and I'll know to leave the cursory number of staff at the train to put up some sort of fight, but to ultimately lose, just long enough to keep Mr. Emerson at bay. If, however, you have more confidence in your powers of persuasion, well then, so be it. I look forward to learning what you are able to learn.
Very well. I'll take your words back to the group.
Wonderful.
Anything else, Joan?
No, I do not believe so.
Stand up and tip my hat. Hold my
Uh,
glove behind my back.
Yeah, he does. Well, he does the same in terms of tipping his hat and returns through the door back into his manor as you guys head back to the inn.
Yeah, as we exit the manor, I'm immediately whistling the tune that I play on my harmonica when I practice. Just the atonal, shitty, like 4 bars of some indistinguishable song. Well, that went pretty well, huh?
I think so.
Hey, he seems pretty reasonable. And we're
For
gonna
now.
get oh, you better. Oh, Abby's gonna be so excited about getting a train. I can't wait to tell her I'm getting her a train. Hold on? Work through me here. You think do you think she's gonna try to keep her composure and be like, I I don't even care about the train. The train is stupid and I don't like it. Or do you think she's gonna be like, oh, quite curious about the train?
Uh, oh, I think she'll be very curious. That was a fun impression there. Does
Impression, sure.
you ever show the doctor that impression?
Yeah, for most of our life, yeah. Also, this isn't like my normal voice, right? Like I choose to talk like this
How come?
because it's the voice I like.
That's fair.
More, well, like a less refined version of her, I guess, if you needed me to. Also, Joan, worth pointing out what I said about Emerson, what I can do to Emerson. It applies to your boy as well.
Yeah. The thing that throws that into question for me is, I don't know how much is left of him once the spirit's gone. It sounds like this string is able to bridge the gap in a way that.
So, if that's true, then I can give you that answer.
Mhm.
If there's nothing left to talk, and nothing will talk when I put it to sleep. If anything's left, it'll be able to talk to us.
Mhm.
If it isn't, then at least you'll know. I just
Yeah,
wanted you to
we'll
know.
see what we can find out whenever we get there. But I just want to have all the tools we can, and it sounds like this string is the strongest tool we've got. So.
Right, but that's also why I wanted you to know about the power I can do. Because it's a tool for you to try to help your boy.
I appreciate that.
I sling an arm around Joan's shoulder.
Cool. Y'all head back to the inn to find your compatriots.
Information dump immediately.
Okay. Now,
Friendly's
above-
doing it frantically because 20 minutes from now, Friendly's going to start losing details, and I can't write anything down.
Right. Oh God.
But you're
that's right.
saying 10% that they're leaving in the safe,
Right, about
was
5,000
5,000?
and a
5,000.
train. And the whole train, we get it.
What do we get if we rob the man?
I mean, if 5,000 is 10%, then that would be 50,000.
Okay, setting that question aside, that's where we're currently at. We've been given an extra proposal in there to do some additional chicanery. Though the kernel of his thing there, essentially as a way to lure Emerson out, ain't a bad idea. Saying, we got the train, we need your help breaking the lock. You can bring you and a couple of your boys, and we can go take care of that. Don't even involve Duvall. Just use that as a good excuse to get him out to the train where we can maybe sort it.
Well,
How
I mean,
much-
I don't know if sorting them. So we didn't. What Mr. Duvall offered was that we could do that to have him go out to the train, and Mr. Duvall would have someone keep him busy while we're here, and we go and snoop around Emerson's place and learn what we can.
True. I just don't want to lose custody of the train once we got the train.
Fair
Well,
point.
how's the train? We have a train car, but
Right.
a train car don't move.
Yeah, but this train doesn't
This
need
one
tracks
does?
where it goes.
Well, how?
I
We'll
don't know.
So
see. We'll see
we
whenever
getting
we
the
see
whole
it.
train,
We're
or we
gonna
getting
get
the
to watch
train
it do it.
part?
Just this train car, though, it seems like it's a magic train car.
Maybe it's a technological train.
Maybe it runs on a whole lot of ghost rock that we ain't got.
Maybe it does. We'll find out Monday night.
Still very cool.
Abby, what do you think about the train?
I think it could be very useful. I am more than a little curious how it works, but we've seen auto cars. Like we've seen the horseless carriage that Sister Winter gave us. I imagine a train-sized one could make our trips to find Miss Avery Sutton much more comfortable.
I wink at Joan and hold up a very surreptitious number 2, like option number 2.
What is that? What are you doing?
Doing what?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sibling
Well-
shit.
I'm gonna. I think the negotiations went great. I'm gonna go do my minding and go to bed, I think.
Well, it sounds like we're robbing a train tomorrow night.
I don't remember what day today is, but
Yeah,
sure.
we're doing a mock
It's
robbery
the
tomorrow
third.
night.
Right, train comes in tomorrow night.
It's the
Okay.
third on the Sunday. So the fourth Monday night.
That means tomorrow we need to go about doing normal stuff.
What?
Fair, but we don't live here, so I think we just have to hang out.
Yeah, I mean that's the normal stuff.
Should we
And
talk to
when is
Emerson and let him know that we are? Have we said yes? We're gonna do it to him, or
Right.
what is his? Where is he at on all this?
Yeah, I mean you two spoke with him today, right?
I did.
Yeah, so you got a rapport. You could head on out there tomorrow and talk with him again. Let him know it's happening.
Mhm.
Well, I should say not letting him know actually can be kind of helpful because it means he won't stick his business in it. Won't be like, let me send a few people with you to help.
Right. And when is
shit
it
like
that
that.
we're trying to get him to stick his business in it?
Potentially Tuesday
After we got
morning
it.
after the supposed robbery happens. We maybe could have him stick his nose out there while we search around here. I don't know if we need to. I mean, I think we're very capable of just talking to Emerson and saying we did what you want, tell us what we want, and convincing him. But if we don't feel confident in our ability to get Emerson to give us information voluntarily, then perhaps we could lure him away and um, we could have him lured away so we could snoop.
Hmm. All right. Then tomorrow we let Emerson know that we're siding with him, and then we rob the train. Now,
Mhm.
are there gonna be guards and all?
No, Mr.
Yes.
Duval laid it out pretty plainly that there would be guards on the train, but he would you know the separate train car with the remaining cash and the already broken into quote unquote safe that would drive itself farther along, and then we just go and pick that up. So there's no actual fighting we'll need to be doing. There will be guards there, and we just need to leave them be, and then we'll take care of the we'll go pick up what we need to after that's done, but we'll just watch it all go down.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like a plan.
All right. I think this is as good a place as any to take a little break. to it. Um, any conversations you want to continue the evening of Sunday the 3rd, late in the evening at this point, Sunday the 3rd?
Um, are we all going to do the robbery, or just a couple of us? Like, what's going on with that situation?
Feels like a we should all go type of thing.
Yeah, I
so
think all
going
of us
to
should
go
be
to
fine.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. It is evening passes without any issue. Monday the 4th arrives. Whomever is the first to wake up and make an appearance in any of the sort of public areas of the inn, you hear the dealer say, "Well, what have you decided? Shall we leave a lantern in the window?" And I will leave it up to you as to whoever individual or group of you is up first to answer that query.
Uh,
That depend. So basically, we need to decide if we should have Duval send extra men, to take care of to keep company for what's for Emerson. But I think we can just persuade Emerson to tell us what we need to. I don't think we need to get him out of the house so we can snoop necessarily.
I agree, if only because it simplifies things a little bit. We already got a pretty complicated mechanism rolling here.
Anyone else got opinions one way or another?
No, but maybe if we don't get what we need, maybe that's a plan B.
I think we can still use that ploy if we need to, potentially,
Right.
without Duval's support. I mean, without Duval's extra men. I mean,
Potentially, but good to know something that we might use should we need to. Who's speaking to the Emerson?
I think I can go and speak with him. I've spoken with him a few times now. We're gonna go and let him know that the game's the game's moving. That we're throwing in our lot with him, quote unquote.
All right. So, sounds like at a minimum, Joan has a task to get done today. What is everybody else up to? Anybody heading with Joan? People have other
Oh,
things they want to get up to?
anybody?
Thomas will go with Joan.
Okay, so the two of you are going to talk to Mr. Emerson and let him know that you are throwing your weight behind his cause. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me think about how I want to do this. Yeah, I think. Let me just see here.
While you're thinking,
Hmm.
I like to believe that the the three of us, Franklin, Friendly, and Cornelius, are sitting here playing poker together,
Okay.
and it's just like, got any threes?
Go
Well, I
fish.
told you you're not supposed to tell you that.
Yeah, that's not at all how
Wait.
poker works.
Wait.
I got 2 threes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wait.
then I fold.
Hey, you don't fold, you go fish, dumbass. God, this guy's
Uh,
the smart one.
all right.
I have the
think-
most tokens next to my hand.
Oh yeah, you're cooking my ass. But I'm gonna
uh,
win big.
Sean and Maggie, let me know. That didn't seem to work.
I'm showing 99% loaded.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
there it is.
Yeah, I'm on a map.
Great. And you should be in the sort of the foyer with Morris Emerson.
Yeah.
I think I'm already going to change my mind and I'm going to just move you guys. Well, actually, I'm going to change my mind again. I'm going to drag you through some places, but I'm not going to. I want you to be able to see some of the layout here. So he's just making small talk with you and says you can get down to brass tacks when you get up to his office. Joan, you recognize this as the place where you and Cornelius initially had a conversation with him. You recognize this room. It is disgusting, right? As disgusting now as it was yesterday. And what you see in here are not just a bunch of zombies, but unlike yesterday, where there was a almost entirely devoured cow carcass in here, that was at that point there was still some meat on the bone, but it was mostly just skeleton. This is a cow carcass that has been brought in fresh, and it is a bloody mess. And these zombies are just going to town on it. They look at you briefly, but all sort of move out of the way as Morris Emerson comes through. He walks you through a door over here. Whoops, I took some of these guys with me. Let me put them back. I just want you guys to see there's a staircase over here. That leads upstairs. And leads into this hallway upstairs. And then leads into his office. Where he says, okay, now we got some privacy. What's the good news,
Wonderful.
folks?
Yes, so we were able to get some information from Mr. Duval. We know a little bit more about when to expect the train and number of guns to look out for. So operations underway. Now we wanted to check in with you, and I was wondering what are your next plans?
Well, it's pretty simple. You take all that money, he won't be able to pay his men. They'll hightail it out of town. Him and his other associates tend to keep to themselves during the day, so we'll have the run of the place.
Well, now how come is that?
Make a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm.
You get free rerolls on that, but I don't know if that is necessary.
He says, y'all had dinner with him last night. You tell me.
Well, see, I'm just curious how come you didn't mention the vampirism, because that was big information, of course.
Pretty big twist.
Well, I figure me handing you the avenue to get $50,000.
No, yeah, I mean that's totally fair, and I'm
Buys
all
me
for
some
fucking over a
privacy.
vampire.
Tell me again why you don't just rob the train yourself.
Well, you don't think we've tried?
I'm
Seems
guessing
like
it hasn't gone well.
no, and judging by the way you and yours handled my men, I figure you got a much better shot at it than I do. But now that you know what you're dealing with, know that it's probably what they got on that train.
Vampires.
Mm-hmm. That's why it only gets
Can't
delivered at night.
can't trust them.
Do
Well,
you know a whole lot about Duval's little mining operation he's got going on?
oh, he showed you that, did he? Well,
Mm.
if he showed you, then you know that I do. 'Cause my men are down there too. I guess that means you know what we're fighting over.
I want to step out of character a second
Mhm.
here, and I would like to try to totally lie and bluff through this and say that, well, no, you've just told us that you had men down there. He said he has a mining operation and wouldn't tell us anything more. What do you
Okay.
mean you've got men down there?
Great. Make
Is
me
there
a
a
persuasion roll.
deception? Okay, I didn't know if there was a separate skill for deception. I want to use a free reroll on that.
Okay.
Ding.
Okay, is
Yeah,
better.
that is a good use of the free reroll. It's all right. Well, kudos to you. I'm the one who told you that I got men down there. What of it?
I mean, there's no, I'm just saying, I don't know what y'all are fighting for. I would love for you to fill me in a bit and, give me some information because I'm very intrigued and I want to know if there's any other ways I might be able to help you
We're
or
trying to make a
harm this
decision.
vampire here because I can tell you I ain't a fan of his kind.
Well, bring me that 50 grand. I'll tell you what you want to know. Otherwise, you keep the 50 grand and you're a hired hand and you do what I tell you. Seems like a reasonable business decision. Could both of you make me a notice roll, please?
Yeah. Ooh, I'm a
2
noticer.
queens.
Mm.
Okay. Um. Oh wow. How do I? So while he's laying, I mean, he's not clearly he's not very forthcoming with the details. He clearly would like to keep things private, right? But has made the offer. If you give him the $50,000 that he knows is coming on that train, like he'll tell you whatever you want to know. You are sitting in his office. The whole place is sort of a shithole. Not just the office. The whole ranch house is sort of a shithole. I mean, he's got undead traipsing around that have been devouring live cows downstairs and then traipsing around the house. There's not a whole lot of cleanup going on. This room isn't quite filled with that type of detritus, as it looks like much of his undead crew has not been allowed in here, but it is sort of an old, dusty, disheveled looking room. There's all sorts of trinkets and instruments. There's a bayonet laying up against the wall. There is a framed photograph hanging behind his desk. It's of 3 Confederate soldiers. He's one of them. Joan, you recognize one of them, and Thomas, only because you got a raise on your notice roll, you don't recognize the first one, but you recognize the second one, right? Joan, you recognize the person. Morris Emerson is standing in the middle in this photograph of these 3 people. The person on his right is your son, Donnie. The person, you don't recognize the person on the left. Thomas, you do recognize the person on the left. But, man, you know this guy, right? But it's real hard for you to remember a name. You saw him a while ago, maybe somewhere up north. And that's going to be itching at the back of your brain for a bit. And we can revisit that in maybe a little later this afternoon as you, or whenever. And who knows, you might already know who this is. Sean, you might know who this is. But yeah, so the big reveal here, at least initially, Joan, is that this guy was a Civil War soldier, and Donnie is in his Civil War. They're all 3 people in their Civil War uniforms, and Donnie's standing right next to him.
I think I want to try to continue greasing the wheels, and we're already we are going to get that money, and we want to put it towards a cause here, but more than just business associates, I hope that we can work into I'm trying to help you. I just noticed your picture back there. Is that your friends of yours, or?
Yeah, you could say that. We part of the way through our conscription, me and those 2 fellers, we had a little difference of opinion with Confederate leadership and decided to take out on our own. Hang that up there as a reminder of the importance of following your guts and sticking by those you trust.
That
Well,
that fella to your left, Donnie, right? Donnie Broussard.
His eyes narrow. Yes.
Have you seen him at all recently? I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit off course. I'm Donnie's mother.
Well, isn't that a small world? I have not seen Donnie. Have you seen Donnie?
No, no, not at all.
What about Corporal Stankiewicz?
I'm not really familiar with him.
is that the other feller in that picture there, or is that someone else?
No, that's the other feller. Thomas, at hearing the name, you put it all together, right? When you saw this guy, he had a much bigger beard, right? Was wearing nothing but like,
Inky,
yeah, it's stinky.
my man.
Um,
All right, I'm definitely on the vampire side. We gotta kill these people.
I stand up a bit and I kind of gesture towards the point towards the photo and say, "May I take a look?"
Be careful with it.
I walk up,
Mhm.
to kind of lean in to get a good look to make sure that what I'm
Mhm.
seeing is what I'm seeing. Also to see, like what these people all looked like at the time, but also to see what Donnie looks like.
Mhm.
Um, I turn and say, "Whenabouts was this taken?"
That was taken shortly after we left the Confederacy, sort of a celebration of our new endeavor. Didn't go quite the way we wanted it to, but never hurts to try. And I sure would like to be reunited with them too, so I can tell them there's no hard feelings. You sure you ain't seen your boy?
I'm positive. I've been looking for him actually, so seeing him there was kind of threw me for a minute. But whatever happened, what split y'all up?
Well, we thought we could come into some money. Thought we could keep it out of the Confederacy's hands too. Sort of a double victory. But things went south. We got scattered to the winds.
I walk back around to the front of the desk. Life has a way of getting in the way of things, you know?
Yeah, sure does. But once I wipe whatever remains of Duvall's crew out of this town, get what's mine, I can make a new home for all these fellers here that helped me. And I can go out and find my old buddies. I want you to
Making a
make
home.
me another notice roll, please.
Both of us, or just
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah. No, you're both there.
Not a noticer. You know what? I'll spend a penny. Wait, I didn't hit the spend penny button, but I'll detract. Let's see.
All right. something's weird about the way he says go find his old buddies, right? It's not hostile, right? But it's hard to call it like super or overtly friendly, you know. That plus like here supposedly out of the blue, supposedly unbeknownst to him, like his old buddy's mom shows up, right? And he's playing it real cool. Again, not necessarily hostile, just sort of off from what you'd expect if, he was truly best buddies with these two. Like, I mean, if you're
Yeah, there's
if,
been a vibe, and it's good to see the vibe confirmed.
right,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, just want to
Yeah.
make sure everybody's got it.
You know, it's so strange how wide all this country is, and yet here in this place we find we all are connected. That's what I'm getting to. You see, we like to help. Now the train, that's something. But as you've already said, you haven't been able to do it. And you need it done. And we're able, but it's a lot of risk. The way I see it, we're offering you a lot. We'll take care of the majority of the lifting, but that means that we take the majority of the prize. Now, we might be able to offer you, let's say, something off the top. Call it 8%, a finder's fee. We risk our lives, you get paid, your enemy is weakened, everyone works out. That's fair.
Mr.
And it would
Everett?
sure go a long way in building trust, and I think trust is important in business as much as it is in friends and family. And I'm trying to help, or I guess help
Mhm.
action's not a thing as much in this.
It is. I mean, you can, but I mean,
support role, yeah.
this won't need a roll because
Yeah.
he says, Mr. Everett, Mr. Broussard, that's awfully generous of you. It's particularly generous since I already gave you my word that you can keep all of it. I don't want. Look, I'd love to have some of that money. Not saying I wouldn't, right? But me and mine couldn't get it done, and I agree with you.
Then
There is
See,
risk.
that's the thing. That's the thing is, you said earlier we could keep the money and we're just hired hands and we go our ways and that's the end of it, or we give you the money and we get to learn something and we get in on the operation a bit. We try to help more. I think we want to build some trust here, and we want to be able to put something towards your cause as well. I am so curious about. You said you're building a home for these folks, wanting to. Where are they all coming from? I mean, this is a larger number of folks like in this condition than I've seen concentrated anywhere, and it's just it's astonishing. And as far as I know I've been asking you quite a bit about that, but you see, it's because I'm looking for Donnie. Donnie, if he's here, he's one of the folks you're working on protecting. He's one of the folks you're trying to build a space for, and I just if it, uh,
All right. Make me a persuasion roll, and you're trying to hit 6 or higher.
I will use my free reroll. I will use a Benny.
Benny,
I'll use another Benny.
it's just teasing. It's
And
just
then I'll use my
love.
last penny. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, well,
Right. He looks at you and he says, "Look, I understand, and I want to find Donnie too. Sounds like we can work together on that, and I look forward to working together on that. But we got a deal, and what's going on in this here town is a town for those folks." And he points just sort of out towards the rest of his house. "I'm doing this for them. I ain't doing it for me, and I ain't doing it for Donnie. We deserve better. So, after it's all said and done here, you want to team up, go find Donnie together? We can do that. But as for what's going on here, you can prevent Duvall from getting the cash he needs to pay his men and be $50,000 richer, or you can give me that $50,000 as your buy-in for what's going on here."
Well, then it sounds like we'll have to decide what to do with the money. But aside from that, we are agreed to help you. Come
Well, that's
tomorrow
much.
night, that train will be ours.
I'm happy to hear it. Do you need any extra muscle? They're not the smartest nor the quickest on the draw, but they'll do what I tell them to do.
Only those you could stand to lose.
Oh, there's more where they came from.
Wait,
And he sort of peers down the hall in this direction.
Then I'd say we probably have it covered. I'll let you know if otherwise.
All right, fair enough.
I look towards Joan and just say, Joan?
well, I appreciate your time very much, Mr. Emerson, and sticking to your deal. It's understandable. We will speak again very soon. Good day.
He stands up and shakes your hand, Thomas. Shakes your hand, Joan, and holds it and looks you square in the eye. It's like, it's a real pleasure to meet Donnie's mama. I do hope we can work together to find him.
Very kind,
And
sir.
that is it. You guys heading back to the inn?
I actually have a
Well-
question.
Yeah.
Do I notice any keys on his personage or keys on the desk?
Make me a notice roll.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a nail driven into the side of the desk towards the top, towards the desktop, but it's in the side of the desk. There's a key ring hanging on it.
How big?
I mean,
Is this like in your mind dungeon key ring, like jingle jingle?
no, I mean this is it's key ring is a little probably inaccurate. It's like a sort of like a lanyard with, maybe looks like 5 or 6 keys on it. If you're basically, if you're asking, could it be easily hidden? Right? This is
Yeah.
this is not a comically large key ring.
Right. Yeah, okay. That, you know what? It's way too dangerous. I am not doing anything, and Thomas isn't a thief anyway. Yeah, that's fine. I notice it. I clock it.
Cool. All right. Anything else, or just heading back to the inn?
I think when we exit, out of the place, right? Um, walk a bit, and kind of like once we get, like maybe 15, 20 feet away, I'll just stop in the street and be like, "That was Donnie?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
No funnin'.
No funnin'.
Shit, Joan.
Mhm.
He might know how to find him."
He seems to know a lot more than he's letting on. See that glance he threw down the hall? Almost like, I don't know, he's got a zombie creating machine in there or something.
I don't think he's making them. It don't feel that way, but we don't know.
Also,
And
for
if
someone
we,
who goes on about how, how his primary goal, his number one thing, the thing he cares about most is making a place for these people, but he's also very willing to let them get killed. Uh, he didn't seem to mind whenever we mentioned that anyone he sent with us might be disposable.
hmm, something's off. Something's definitely off in there.
Hmm. Hmm.
I fear that
Well,
if we make the deal with Duvall, right, and these things, whatever they are, they get wiped out, we ain't learned nothing. And then Donnie's back in the wind.
I mean, doing anything, the deal with Duval doesn't necessarily wipe out the Emerson gang all in one fell swoop. He's just trying to learn information primarily. I think it might be a good idea for us to follow up with um, what Duval had mentioned about trying to get Emerson out of the house here tomorrow. That way we can maybe see what's going on in some of those other rooms.
Hmm. Would you want to look? I've I've made friendly like with some of the folk there. I don't know how far it would get me, but
You're talking about with the Emersons?
yeah,
Yeah,
I might
well, I mean,
be able to walk more than others, given that I ain't like the others.
yeah, yeah. I don't know about, you trying to infiltrate or anything, because if you get caught snooping, that probably not be good. Um, I think we should just get back to the group and kind of go over what we have found out here, and keep moving forward with the plan as is. But um, I want to know what's in that other room.
Yeah. Let's go tell the others. We go tell the others.
So I mean, what do you guys think? Duval's offer of um, trying to get Emerson out of town tomorrow by luring him out to the train car, which we'll have already taken the money out of, and Emerson would just find uh, gunners there that would distract him for a while we took a look at what was going on inside his house.
I don't think there'd be gunners at the train, right? That the thing is just to get him physically away. Eh,
Well, Duval said something about sending folks with it to keep him busy.
I suppose that just
That's what
seems
the
odd, right?
lantern is
If I
about. Is
if we robbed it and secured it, then why'd there be gunners then? You know, that sounds
Well,
like if
that's the
I were
thing. I
him.
mean, once that happens, the jig is up.
Well,
I
right.
think.
Then that is saying that we betrayed him. We set an ambush for him, right? That don't
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
right. I think.
No, yeah, I hadn't.
But what interest would he have in the train? I guess supposing other than just having it.
Well, it was, under a ruse of we got the safe, but we need you to come out and crack into it. We can't get into it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it is fully setting up an ambush, I think, and if we don't want to do that, it might not be a good idea. The other option is just continue with what we've got. Get the portion of it. The thing is he was very clear that we bring him a full $50,000,
Which we
or
won't have.
which we won't have, or we
What the
are
fuck?
just out of it. Uh, he's not going to give us any more information unless we bankroll him, which obviously can't happen.
I
I
mean,
can see how that much money is buying loyalty, though. That's truly insane.
how much?
50? Do y'all really want to give $50,000 to fucking zombies?
I just said that we can't do that, and we aren't going to. I just said
Oh,
that's what he told
oh
us
god.
to. That's what he told us he wanted us to do.
Oh my god. It's like like Franklin's physically ill and stuff. Thank God.
I'm just saying, we're talking about we don't want to just decide to betray him right now, but we cannot continue to ally with him because we can't pay the price it costs to ally with him at this point.
Well, to ally in the degree that we're talking, right? We won't be able to buy information, but we would still have a alliance of a sort.
I mean, it's the next step in our tentative plan was to, have the Emerson gang get ambushed in the Duval Manor during the day by, et cetera. So, when are we gonna betray somebody? I guess, and um,
Yeah, we sort of been planning on just when it was convenient, and I think that we really put off the idea of when we needed to take action, which is at this point. I think now I don't think we have a lot of choices. We have to do something, make that call now.
Well, it's up to y'all. I told y'all I wanted to just fuck them both over, and then we just get the fuck out of here.
Me too. I just want to learn as much as I can about what's going on first, because
Right.
if we just go hostile right now, we don't learn anything except for
Right.
what we can snoop around for. I think trying to snoop into Emerson's place could get us more information, but I don't know a way to do that that's not setting Emerson up for an ambush.
Look, I know we're out here trying to stop this Avery, but this is Donnie we're talking about. This is Jones' son. We got a chance to find him and save him. A real thing.
Okay. That's super fair, right? Never want to separate mother from child. Let's put it back out there. He's dead, isn't he? He's dead, or is he just wandering
Yeah,
around as
no,
it
no,
were?
he is dead. He's returned, harrowed. He's potentially like Emerson.
You know, wh- um, I don't want to step on your toes when I say this, but
Say what's on your mind. Say your piece.
what kind of life is that?
I don't know. I want to try to do what I can to either return him to peace or to give him life that is fulfilling here. And one of those two options, that's what I want. But I need to find him first, and I need the tools to be able to do anything. And so far, this string seems like the only lead in that department. Now, Thomas, your point about do you have an idea about how to go about furthering our allyship with Emerson? Because if we don't have the money to give him, the 8% deal, he didn't seem to buy it. It's all or nothing.
It's about choosing, and the choice is bad. We got trying to stop Avery and whatever the hell's going on with that, or trying to find your son.
Isn't
And I don't know how to do both.
isn't Avery's son the person that's going to end the fucking world if we don't kill him?
Yeah,
At the
that's
very
gotta
least,
be
unleash something horrible from the hunting grounds.
trying to return a very powerful ancient Manitou. It sounds like, and thinking that it's going to bring about salvation, but it'll bring destruction.
Well, maybe I'm just seeing black and white here, but isn't that the only choice?
Yes, I mean that's got to be our primary. That's got to be what we focus on foremost.
Well, I can't make that choice for you, Joan, but I'll stand by whatever choice you do make.
You know,
I think that we should continue along with our plan as we have been moving along so far. I think it would be a good idea, unless someone disagrees, for us to try to get more information out of Emerson's house, if possible, before we start a conflict. But I still think that Duval is our better ally. Emerson's hiding too much. He's leaving too much out. Duval's been up front.
Okay.
Anything else? I'm sorry, go for it.
So, plan is as continues. We rob the train tonight, the fake robbery, to gain Emerson's favor, like. And maybe we distract him, though I fail to see what draws him out in a significant manner, but maybe that will reveal itself. After the robbery,
I feel like that's something we should come up with sooner than later.
Well, the plan there, the
sounds
idea
like
was
an option
there
on
was
the
to come
list.
to Emerson and say, okay, we got the train car, we got it, it's here, it's in the woods, come out here and help us crack into it. That's the ruse. But I think we can't abandon that ruse if we return to, we get the money, we show Emerson that we took it, and then we, like we mentioned with Duval, if he has his, his human employees hide out, disappear, quote unquote, and let Emerson move forward with his plan, and walk himself and his gang into a trap. And maybe while that's happening, we're in the Emerson house seeing what's going on in there.
Then who's getting the string? Because when Emerson's dead, that's the next move.
Then we go through Emerson's hole and find our way to the string from that side and try to beat the bloody dog that leaves the fight upstairs.
Wait. Okay, right. The plan. I'm just making sure I get this all right. The plan is we're gonna do the robbery, come to Emerson, tell them that we did it, take them to the woods, and then hope. No, what's the plan?
We
That
don't.
was
I don't
that was
think
what
bringing them.
Duval offered.
I
That
don't think bringing them to the train does anything
Yeah,
for
I
us.
don't think
Maybe
that-
someone discovers a way that it do, but I don't think it does without raising further complications
Yeah.
for us.
I just want to. It was Duval who suggested that. Is that right?
It was Duval who suggested an additional ploy to try to get Emerson out of the house on Tuesday so that we could sneak around and try to get some information. Because Duval's interested in figuring out how Emerson's attracting these
Right.
zombinoids.
Right, and that may come to fruition, perhaps, but I don't think any of us see it yet. But
my only point being that truth is Duval knows Emerson better than any of us do. And so if it is the case that it has been suggested there is a ploy that may work, then Duval knows it better than any of us.
Right, but I think that that's just an extra ploy, that we don't need that ploy because what we want to happen is for Emerson to lead his zombie gang into Duval's house where he gets jumped by the human protection that is there that he thinks is not there. So that's the actual thing that'll get him out of his house. And we
you're
can go
saying-
and search the house at that time.
right, that's when we search the house, and we have to do it quick enough to get back down into the mines, which we don't know how he gets to, by the way, and somehow make sure that we get the soul string or whatever, not the
Ooh.
vampires.
More or less.
Okay.
Well, I did
Um,
see keys in the office. They're on his desk. Hopefully he leaves them and don't carry them. I mean, he didn't have them on him when we was talking. Maybe them keys is useful, maybe they're not, but that's something.
Okay. Right.
I think
What's when they kill Emerson? What's stopping all the vampires underneath from taking the string and getting the fuck out of there?
well, right, that's precisely the whole thing we're talking about right now is if that's happening, then the string is the next on the list, right? After the immediate danger. So we need to be done whatever we're finding quick. And then we need to get down quick to either catch them in the act or get there before them. And I don't know
Okay.
which is better.
Also,
I
though,
don't-
we don't know that that's how it's going to play out either. Some of these things are, moving cogs that we don't have all the.
Right. We're only laying out what we can think of and control. Obviously, things will change and we will react in
Yeah,
poor ways,
that's
I'm certain.
yeah, that's fair. I don't want to leave it up to chance with all our lives here for people that we don't know or care about for, except your son and another guy we're coming here to kill. I don't- we're putting ourselves in the heat of danger.
Right. Staying here and not leaving is the dumbest thing we're doing. And every choice is dumb and dangerous. And we can't account for everything, and we shouldn't because we can't. All we can
Yeah.
have an idea of is what are we trying to do? and then we go from 1 to 2 to 3 to get out.
That
So we
is
rob the train. We get Emerson ambushed. While they're ambushing, we're stealing. Then we get the string. We're likely going to have to kill some vampires before we get out of town.
any other thoughts? Anybody else got thoughts on this? Abigail, Friendly, Cornelius?
I
think
think it's just sticky enough that no matter what choices we make, folks are going to either be happy or unhappy about it. So we just got to kind of commit to something.
Right. We're all mostly agreeing. We're just disagreeing about details we don't know about.
Uh,
I think the plan
You-
that we've come up with is the best plan we have for the information that we have. Is it the best plan? No, of course. I mean, it's simply the best plan we have with the information we have going. I don't think that we are in a position to be exceptionally particular on finding all the information before we go in. I think that given what we want to do, this plan gets us the most information. It gets us into the Emerson household to see where those, what in there might be the root of what is happening, both in terms of Emerson himself, but also in terms of he's the best source of information for Donnie, and it sounds like if he has more information, it would be in his house, and he's unwilling to share it initially. It gets us the information on Avery Sutton. It makes no sense to save everyone in a world that's about to be destroyed or turned into a living hell with a horrible creature from the hunting grounds.
Well, I
Would
don't
I
know what gets us
prefer-
on Avery Sutton, because if we're betraying Duvall, then he ain't going to help us when we got the string. Unless we're leaving the string with him and hoping for his allyship.
I mean, I was sort of assuming we were getting the information and then double crossing him and taking the string.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Did I misunderstand someone's plan where we were? Are we not cleansing the town of? Did I
No, I
misunderstand?
I think that your plan there requires that we give him the string and then double cross and take it back. Whereas I think some of us were under the impression we're never going to give him the string in the first place and cross him before we even got to that point.
Ah.
in
Okay,
that
well.
case, that means that we got the string, no leads on Donnie, and no leads on Avery. So all we got is back to where we were before we came, but we got a mythical, magical string that we don't know what to do with.
Unless
Oh.
there's some information we'll find when we're searching the Emerson house, or any more information we can get from Duval. If it's possible for us to leverage in a way, that has us continue to work with Duval for a period, and then we just, a whole separate interaction, we decide to fight him down the road. I think that might be a possible course of action, but that's certainly something we can decide for sure once we see where some of the other pieces fall.
Yeah, it does seem as though some of what will drive our future decisions is not going to be known until we've gone through some of the steps, because we're not necessarily banking on finding something, but we're doing what we're doing with the knowledge that what we are likely to find may, in fact, give us direction we don't have right now. Does that sound about sum it up?
Well,
Sure.
why don't we just do that to Mr. Duvall's house? We know he knows, right?
You mean about Avery?
Yeah, Avery. Avery
I
is
mean, what he knows about Avery is just that she'll likely come back here once she hears that the string's been found.
Mhm.
I don't know that there's a whole lot more that he has to give us about that.
Well, he knows more than we do, and this was our step on the road to them. And if we're putting Donnie aside for the moment, then I'd like to have that string for him, but if Avery's the goal, I don't see how betraying Duvall gets us there.
Avery was always the goal.
Maybe the price for Avery is leaving Duvall with the string.
And it might be, and that's something that I'm willing to stomach if we have to. There are other strings, and
There's
Avery
more
might already
strings.
have another string.
Mm.
But I think our plan doesn't involve us betraying Duval unless we get to a point where we absolutely have to. Whenever Emerson goes into Duval's house, that Duval will know that that's happening. That's a plan. Um, and then he can even know that we're searching Emerson's house because he wants us to do that. And then we'll head down through the Emerson tunnel to see what's going on downstairs. See if there's a fight going on between the zombies and the vampires that are in the cave, and if so, we can assess and go from there.
Okay. So we
And that
rob.
doesn't, at that point we won't have betrayed Duval yet, and we could potentially still not betray him at that point. We just see how things play out. Be there
Okay.
with him when the string is found.
So we faked rob the train.
Wait,
Emerson gets
okay.
ambushed. We
Yeah.
try to find information in Emerson's home. If the plan adjusts because of information found, we'll do that. Otherwise, the goal is to not betray Duvall until such time as an opportunity arises. But that opportunity might not arise because we need Duvall's allyship against Avery Sutton.
Yeah.
So a maybe betrayal on Duvall, a definite betrayal of Emerson.
Yeah.
I think it's a good bad plan.
Thank you. It's what I'm known for.
Hey, if I die, I will come back and kill you guys. I'm just going to be so honest right now. Just putting that on the table.
That seems about par for the course anyway. So
All right. As long as
Okay.
we all got that together.
I'm looking at the time, right? And given that, I'll put the question to you. What was going to be an encounter of robbing the train is now just going to be an event because the robbery is a fake and it's all being staged. So, if y'all like, I could describe that now, and we can pick up next session with the aftermath of what happens after this fake train robbery. Or if everybody's feeling tired, we can call it here, and we'll start next session with the description of the fake train robbery.
I
Not to
think
be
that's a good
mistaken with the great
idea.
train robbery.
I think that's a good idea for us to do that next week, just so it'll set tone and all of the details of that'll be kind of refreshed for us.
Fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So we will call session here.